To start with, we will have a little go around and introduce you the members of the ESE office team involved, our guests, Miriam Kriskine and Lina Pashu, and also Jenny and Cynthia. So to say about myself, I'm one of the 3 co-founders of EUWIN, and as you know, I'm currently the president-elect of ESE, and in my day job, I'm the director of the MRC Laboratory of Medical Sciences here in London. Okay, so and on my screen, we start with Cynthia.
Hello, everyone. I'm Cynthia Ndonyadu. I'm a basic scientist working at King's College in London. And for ESE, I am chair of the Congress Committee and I'm on the Executive Committee.
Excellent. And then Andrea Davis.
Hi, so I'm Andrea Davis and I work for the ESE team and I'm head of governance, finance and office, and I'm kind of responsible for the committees.
Excellent. And Jenny Visser.
Hi, I'm Jenny Visser, as Wiebke said, one of the co-founders of EUWIN. I'm a basic scientist based in Rotterdam, where I had the lab metabolism production. I also have management tasks within our department. And for ESE, I'm one of the co-chairs of a focus area. And I also am on several committees for the Endocrine Society in the US. So a lot of committees work.
Okay, and Claire Arrigoni.
Hi everyone, I'm Claire. I work in the ESE office as the event manager, so I work on the Congress and also lots of the other events we run throughout the year and the webinars.
Okay, Miriam Kriskine.
Yes, hello everyone. I'm an endocrinologist in Basel, Switzerland. I'm doing clinical work and also research with a special interest in neuroendocrinology. And for ESE, I'm the chair of the education committee since 2020. April, and as such, I'm also a member of the executive committee.
Excellent. Okay, Vicky Di Gusto.
Hi everyone, I'm Vicky. I work for the ESE team based in the UK as head of scientific programs. I work very closely with a lot of the different committees, science, education, rare disease and clinical, on a variety of projects as well.
Excellent. And Janice Clay.
Hi everybody, I'm Janice Clay. I work for the ESE team. I'm the senior marketing executive, so I help with all the marketing communications around events and around EUWIN.
Cool. And Lina Pashu.
Hello everybody, I'm Lina Pashu. I am assistant professor of endocrinology at the University of Athens in Greece. I'm member of the science committee, member of the editorial boards of Endocrine Views and EYES News, and I'm the previous EYES chair. I'm really glad to be here today. I think that we will have a great discussion. Thank you.
Excellent. Great. And and welcome everybody. And you can obviously raise your hand to ask questions. I think that should be activated if I see the view. And you could also put questions in the chat or in the Q&A, and we will try to answer them all. But we have prepared, Miriam and Lina have briefly prepared together with the office a brief slide talk to take you through things, and then we can have an interactive discussion. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Wiebke. So I think we can just proceed to the next slide. So this is what we will cover today. And as Wiebke already mentioned, just ask questions because it should be an interactive discussion and not just a presentation from our side. So I will first, together with Lina, give an overview about the committee structure. We tell you a little bit about our experience of being an ESE committee member. What could you expect? How much work is it? Benefits and what you will enjoy. And also another question is, what is the selection process? How can you be nominated, self-nominations, etc.? And also what to include in your statement when applying, what is important. Next slide. So here a short overview on the different ESE committees, and I would say like the overarching committee, it is the ESE Executive Committee, and this is the committee where final decisions are done, where we develop the strategy, the vision and mission of the European Endocrine Society, and members here is the president-elect. As we have heard, we have the first female president-elect now with Wiebke. Then also as an overarching position, the treasurer, who is responsible for the financial situation, and also the secretary. And other members are the chairs of the committees, of the special committees, as you see below. And just one sentence for each committee. So the clinical committee, that is responsible mainly, of course, also for other tasks, but mainly for developing the guidelines. So they decide on whether and in what topic guidelines are needed, or where they have to be updated, and who is the expert having the lead in these guidelines. Then the Congress Committee, as the name says, is mainly responsible to plan and organize the annual Congress. The Education Committee, and I know that best because I'm the chair here, but this is responsible for the whole educational content. So we organize the postgraduate courses, we decide on topics and speakers. We are responsible for developing and the curriculum of the ESE, also to build up now the new European exam. So this is the main tasks here. We have the focus area groups. Those are not directly in the executive committee, but report back to it. The finance committee, we have a responsible person from the office, from the staff for the industry partnership. We have the membership committee, the nominations committee, and this is responsible for nominating persons for the committees, but also for the awards. The nurse committee is a member ex officio. The next slide, we have, and not to go through to everything, but the ESE Publishing and Communications Committee is also important and responsible for the journals. So the European Journal of Endocrinology, Endocrine Connections, but also to plan what new journals should be developed and how. The ESE Rare Disease Committee, again, as the name says, responsible for all rare endocrine diseases. And now, Lina, maybe you want to say something for the Endocrine Views and Science EIS Committee, because you're a member here.
Yeah. I will start with Science Committee. Science Committee is the one which is responsible to give guidance on matters of science, including ethical issues, good practice, and also is the committee which is responsible to support scientific research in endocrinology in Europe, including funding. This committee really helps members of ESE to find funding or to apply for funding from EU or from specific grants from ESE. The EIS committee is the official early career committee of the European Society of Endocrinology. We can mention that now more than 30% of the members of the European Society of Endocrinology are early career endocrinologists or scientists. Younger people have experience of this committee. We have our annual meeting, and this committee is really active. The Endocrine Views is the official magazine of the European Society of Endocrinology, and is dedicated to keeping endocrinologists across Europe, and not only Europe, up to date with our activities and other relevant endocrine news. While the EIS News is the official magazine of the early career endocrinologists and scientists. We have 4 issues per each year for Endocrine Views and EIS News. So, I think that we went through the various committees, and I think that it's time to discuss how we can get in, what to expect, how to apply, and what is our experience. Miriam, would you like to start with your experience or the procedure and how you found these procedures? You're very experienced, both. You went through election for the executive committee. You are the chair of the education committee. You are really active and really experienced.
Well, I mean, to come back to my experience, I started, as mentioned, in April 2020 as chair of the Education Committee. I was approached at that time by the president of the society, AJ, who asked me whether I would be interested to apply. And I was then, of course, happy and very honored to apply for the executive committee position, which I did. And I was elected, of course, again, another honor and pleasure for me. And then I started in the middle of the COVID-19 pandemics, as you might remember. And that was a little bit difficult because the first year of my chairing was all virtual, so I did not have the chance to know the other members of the education committee or executive committee, and also not the ESE office. But still, it was an extremely interesting time. I learned a lot, and it became even more fantastic job when COVID-19 was over, and I was able to know personally know all these amazing people in the committees and to work with them. I think the experience, looking back to those, now it's already more than 3 years, is really that it's incredible how many other people and endocrinologists from different topics, from different geographical areas, you get to know. You have to collaborate with them, you exchange with them. So these personal interactions, I think, is one thing which is fantastic when doing a committee job. And also, of course, you learn really a lot, because I was not experienced in building up, for example, an exam, which different steps there is needed to get there. And also now working on the curriculum, and also to put together all these postgraduate courses. It is really, yeah, I would say it's just a fantastic job. And what I have to say also is that the office, and we have Helen here, we have Vicky here, we have Claire, is of incredible help, because it would not be possible to do that. We all have many other things, and clinics and research. So it's mainly about giving inputs and giving ideas and discussing together, and then they do everything in an incredible efficient way. So yeah, maybe in short, that's my first experience.
I couldn't agree more with you. The experience with every ESE committee is amazing. And what I feel, I couldn't think how much impact my work could have at a European level in endocrinology. This is something very important that everyone should understand. I think that sometimes we work at the national level, or within our hospital, or within our university, but our work cannot impact so many people. But working within an ESE committee, you can have such an impact in the education or research or clinical practice in endocrinology in Europe. And this is amazing.
Excellent. I think that's great to hear this great testimony. And I obviously couldn't agree more either, by working on the executive committee. And I think it will be also important, because many women often ask me, how much work is it? Can I really commit to this? Or, you know, like sort of how many hours per week, per month do I need to invest in this? Can I afford it given my other workload? So what would you say to that?
Well, I mean, if you look at the official sheet of ESE, which I also did in the beginning, then it says as an ordinary member of the executive committee, it's 11 days per year for meetings, for the executive committee meetings, for the annual conference, plus it is 0.5 to 1 day per month as like, yeah, your work. And I think this is extremely difficult to estimate how much time then it is in the end. I would say it's rather more, but it's also extremely different from month to month, because it's of course more in the months or weeks before the conference. It's also more if you have the committee meeting, the educational committee meeting in front of you, or now with the exam approaching, it's also more work. But it's not that you have to reserve a fixed day of like 1 or 2 days per month, but it's like ongoing work, and sometimes it's in the evening, sometimes in the morning. But I would say around 1 to 2 days per month is probably a realistic estimate.
And that obviously is less if you are a member of a normal committee and not the chair of the committee or not part of the executive committee.
Yeah, then it says it's 0.5 days per month, and Lina maybe better know, but I would say that probably is correct.
Yeah, I agree with that. There's a difference if you are the chair of a committee or a member of the committee. As a chair of the Young Endocrinology and Science Committee, I had to work more because, you know, you need to organize projects and to give guidance to the committee, of course, with the excellent support of the ESE office. As a member of the committee, I think that 1 day per month, it's if we can have such estimates, it's okay. But it's not the time. If you are a member of a committee or a chair of an ESE committee, the state of your mind changes also. It's not only the time you dedicate. You feel that you are a member of this ESE family, and the way you work changes. It's not only the time, it's how you work also.
Cynthia.
So maybe Lina, maybe you're saying we work a lot more efficiently whilst we're on the committees. I think that it's a fantastic fantastic opportunity to work in teams. And one thing that I wanted to add on to what you're saying is that a lot of the committee work is very flexible. So there might be tasks that you might need to do, maybe look at particular applications, edit some documents that you can fit around your schedule. So it's not all about the meetings. We have the meetings, but then there are additional tasks that can be done to fit around someone's time. So it's not as onerous as some people may think. And what I'm wondering is, what are the reasons maybe that some women may not be keen on applying for committees? Would it be the time? Would it be maybe feeling that maybe they're not at the right level to apply for a committee? So perhaps we could hear a few of these comments from the audience. So if anyone would like to write in the chat whilst we're talking, and then tell us what has maybe prevented you for applying for a committee role in the past, or maybe you didn't know enough about it, didn't know if it was right for you. So please do use the chat for that. And what I'd like to ask both of you, Lina and Miriam, is when you first, if you think back to the first committee roles that you applied for, were you the ones to put yourself forward, or did a colleague say to you, this is the very, very first committee roles, did someone say to you, you should go for that? Because sometimes it makes all the difference. Maybe you don't think of yourself as someone who could be on a committee. So do you have a memory of that? I've been trying to think back for myself, and it's such a long time ago.
My first role was in the ESE committee. Of course, I was member of the ESE Society for a few years before the application. And I was active with the projects. I was following the projects. And of course, there were people who told me, Lina, go on for that. But we need to say that there is no nomination for most of the committees. You can just go and apply for that. You can nominate yourself, okay? Because some people think that someone should recommend them to be member of the committees. But of course, if people know you and trust you, it's most possible to get into the committees. This happens everywhere, you know, because in the committees things need to get done. So if someone knows that you are trustable and efficient, this is the best.
And Miriam?
Yeah, I would never have thought to apply actually at that time. So it really was when I got the award of WIPKE, the European Journal of Endocrinology Award, and then there was the President's Dinner afterwards, and I was invited there. And then the President, AJ van der Lely at that time asked me and said, well, you should apply for becoming a member. And my first reaction also was, of course, probably very female reaction. No, certainly not. I cannot do that. But then he in a way convinced me. But when I heard that the position to fill would be the treasurer, I went back again, because I said, well, with that, ESE would not have finances at all in 2 years' time. So luckily, I heard that also the education committee would be open, and that is actually I brought with me some experience for that. So then I was convinced to at least try. But I think that also at that time I didn't know about committees, and I'm sure that many of the guests here now are in the same situation, that you're not aware of what committees there are and how to apply, and what is the expectation.
I think.
Sorry, Vibke, go ahead.
No, I just noticed that Giovanna put in the chat, I didn't know that self-applications are welcomed, which obviously is very important, and we will make even clearer on the website. Yeah, it's important to say that if you are would you like to be proposed or propose yourself for the executive committee, then usually you have to have 2 nominators supporting that, because obviously the executive committee is sort of like the governance body of ESE, and then others have to support that you are in good standing. But for a committee membership of all the committees that were outlined, it is sufficient to self-nominate. So you can self-nominate and submit a 1-page CV and a statement why you are interested, and then this will go to the selection. Yeah, we have also Andrea Davis here, who's sort of overseeing the process. Andrea, what happens once I go to the website and enter my information and it is submitted, but what is the next step then?
So once we have all of the nomination forms in, they get collated and they are sent to the committee chair. And then as the individual committee chair and their members kind of review those applications and then make a decision on who they would like to join the committee, which is then ratified by the nominations committee, because they then look at gender balance and geographical distribution. And then once that process is completed, an invitation is issued for that person to join.
Excellent. And how does it work for people who are proposed for the executive committee?
So that's slightly different in that we open the nominations for that around November time, and the deadline is around January. And those nominations are then collated and viewed by the nominations committee. And then they are put forward into an official vote election for all members to vote on their preferred candidates, and then the preferred candidates are elected to the EXCO.
Excellent. So that means the regular committees, the normal committees are sort of an internal process that is driven by the chair and the members of the committee that people apply to join. And the executive committee undergoes some screening process and then is put to the membership for election in the external process. That's very important. Yeah. And if you go to the website to self-nominate yourself, it says you should upload a 1-page CV. Can we hear opinions? What is a good thing to put on your 1-page CV? Because obviously CVs are usually longer than 1 page. What are we after? Yeah, obviously people most likely want to see what your current post is, what your previous posts are, and also good to put any leadership experience. But Miriam, Lina, Jenny, Cynthia, would you like to comment on what you think would be good to put on the 1-page CV?
Well, I think I would certainly also put in your interest, your focal area, because this is important in the committees. You want to have diversity here, especially, I mean, just as an example of the educational committee, if we have to put together a postgraduate course and we only have people interested in pituitary, that is not a very successful course, but we don't know the experts in diabetes or in bone diseases. So this is something I would like to see. What is your expertise in what topic of endocrinology?
Yeah, I think that, of course, the scientific background is important because we are doctors, we are scientists, but the experience in other committees, even at the national level, is also very important. And third, the interest for the specific committee, how do you see this committee, and what is your vision for this committee, and what you want to do for ESE, and how you want to do things for the committee. This is very important. Why you apply? I applied for both for education committee and for science committee, and the application was different. I'm the same person, but the application was different.
There will be women who have never been on a committee before, and they might think, okay, I don't have leadership expertise, I don't have committee expertise. What can I put on my CV? You know, my CV may not be strong enough, but actually, in a lot of the cases, the enthusiasm and the commitment is what we want to see. And making that clear on the CV with maybe a little statement embedded within it, because it's only a one-page CV, so it has to be, you know, quite succinct. I think that would make a big difference in the committee members saying, okay, we want someone who's going to be enthusiastic and who wants to, you know, do the work and work together as a team.
I fully agree with that. So from my own personal experience, I've never applied for any committee. I've always been asked. That's both for the European as for the Endocrine Society. But I do know that, you know, like Cynthia was saying, if you're enthusiastic and you're keen on or interested to be on a committee and be involved with the European Endocrine Society, I think that is what initially we are looking for, because, you know, you have to start somewhere. But if you can, you know, you probably have done something within your own institute that you may not think as, is this really a leadership thing? But probably you do stand out. And already have shown interest in other areas. So just putting that on your CV already shows you that you're interested, that you're committed, that you have leadership experience to whatever level that may be. But I think that's what initially people will be looking for.
Excellent. Yeah, Helen.
This links into what Cynthia and Jenny are saying, really. But just to say that even if you haven't got committee experience, etc., actually any involvement with ESE and interest in ESE is also really helpful. It kind of catches the eye. So if someone's been a member for a certain amount of time, they've been involved with the EYES community, they've won a Young Investigator Award, they've attended ECEs sort of religiously over the last few years and things like that. So even if it's not really linked to the job, it shows a strong interest in ESE, even at that slightly one step removed from kind of that committee side of things. That is also really helpful to see.
Yeah.
So one thing that initially, when I first, I think, applied for a committee role, I thought might be off-putting, was I was a bit worried about the dynamics in the committee, if my voice would be heard. And one thing to mention to everybody is that the committees are extremely inclusive. Everyone's got a voice. They're normally chaired very well. So you can really make a difference once you're on it, and your ideas can be put forward and heard.
Of course, we should mention that usually there are many applications, and the procedure might be competitive because we are at the European level, but you know, everybody should try and should apply and should be involved. Because, you know, I have friends or colleagues who tell me I applied and that did not get accepted, but we need to try for more than one time.
Yeah, and it's also important to say that everybody who is committed to ESE will have a role in the end. I mean, I know that for the executive committee applications, ESE really tries that if this application is not successful that time, that they have a role in other committees as a member of other committees. So this is important to mention. And also, if you apply as a member of a committee and you're not successful at that time, try again, because I think really that ESE is grateful to everybody who is committed, and everybody should have a role.
This is a very important thing, which I have to say that I have noticed both like for awards, committees or other things, that unfortunately women have the tendency when they are not selected, if they are not selected, they have the tendency to not reapply. Well, men actually put themselves in every year again. So like sort of that's also a similar experience for promotions, that men tend to go early even if they don't fulfill our criteria, while women have the tendency to wait until they really feel they have fulfilled all criteria for promotion. I would absolutely encourage you to go again. Yeah, so like if you have not gotten in that time, as you heard, the nominations committee is also looking, which is important, also to look at geographical distribution, gender distribution, and so on. Yeah, so you might not get in this year, but you might get in next year.
Yeah, this is very important what you say, Wiebke, because it's not, you shouldn't take it personal if it's not successful, because it really is a major reason. We look at geographical and focal area distribution, and this might just be the wrong for you.
Yes, the topic might not be the right, and in combination with your geographical background, and it would be cool if you apply again.
So, yeah, absolutely. You shouldn't be discouraged, because there's so many, as Miriam already said, and because, well, there's so many things in the background that you sometimes don't know, that particularly the nominating committee has to take into account, you know, like diversity and all those kind of things, so that you indeed may be just not there at the right time. So, but if you're really enthusiastic and want to pursue a work in a committee, yeah, please do apply again.
There's a lot that one can get out of being a committee member. So maybe we should talk a little bit about that. So what are the benefits to yourself to being a committee member? So for example, I know that, you know, I found the work very rewarding, and I got to learn about many other activities. So for the ESE committees run by ESE, that I wouldn't have known about in so much detail, and you know, managed to expand maybe my own activities because of it. So Lina and Miriam, what have been the positives for you, and maybe some things that might have surprised you, and why you enjoyed and benefited from being on a committee?
I can say that I already mentioned that the most important for me is the impact that your work can have at the European level. You work for certain hours, and you see that your ideas or your actions, you know, are becoming a reality at the European level, and this is amazing if you think about it. The second is that you collaborate with amazing persons. Most of the people working within the ESE are very good collaborators, very complete personalities. I have you become friends with these people, and also you working at this level, you can find opportunities for your personal career development. Also, it's very good for our CVs, especially for young people, to get promotions within universities. Everybody, you know, like this kind of involvement. I think that the involvement within ESE committees is very much appreciated for the career development, especially for young people.
At the same time as, you know, giving something back to the community, right? So it works both ways. So you gain something as well as giving back.
The first thing is what you can offer. Yeah, the most important for me. But there are other good things too.
Thank you. Miriam?
Yeah, I can only echo what you, Cynthia, and what Lina said. I mean, put in other words, you can help to shape the future of the society, and that's really the most rewarding thing. And also, I think that the society is extremely flexible. So you bring in an idea, and it's actually incredible how fast this is taken off by, if it's a good idea, of course, this is taken off by other people and also by the office, and then it's put into reality. And also another point, as Lina also mentioned, is the personal interactions. I mean, this is a real benefit that you learn so many people from all over the world, from different focal areas, and you also have interactions with other societies. So this is another thing. And the third one is that you learn incredibly fast things that you don't know or didn't know, or you hadn't so much experience.
Should we have a show of virtual hands, you know, from the reactions buttons, about who has been on a committee before from the audience?
Any committee, doesn't need to be an
Any
ESE
committee. Yeah.
Just to get an impression. So we have a few hands, yeah.
Yeah.
On page 2, also 1 or 2 hands flashing up. Yeah, more hands flashing up. Excellent. Okay, great.
Fantastic. So we have quite a few of you who have been on committees. And have you any negative experiences on being on committees that maybe we can discuss? Has there been anything that's put you off from applying for a committee before, and maybe you're here at this webinar thinking, you know, maybe let's discuss the issues that I faced? Have there been any issues, or has the experience been great for everyone, like it has been for us in ESE?
Eva has her hand raised.
It was a legacy hand.
It was a legacy hand. No, it's vanished.
So it seems like there has been a positive experience for everyone who's been involved in committee work, perhaps so far. And one thing that I have found, I think, with ESE committees, because my first experience of ESE committees was on science committee, is that once you're in the system, you really enjoy it and you want to carry on. And then you might, you know, when you finish from one committee, you're thinking, oh, I should join another committee because I've still got a lot that I'd like to, you know, to contribute and give. So, and we have Diana is saying in the chat, great experiences on END-ERN within MTG1 and 3 work packages, and IRDC, TSC, I don't know what that means, what the last bit means. So fantastic experience then on END-ERN. Diana, do you want to tell us about it?
Hey, good afternoon. Yeah, it's really great working on those committees, and the ERDIRC, as it is called, is especially for the International Rare Disease and Research Consortium. So yeah, it is great working and speaking with all these professionals and try to make the world a little bit better. So I really enjoy working together with them.
Brilliant.
Yes.
And Andrea also just put in the chat if there are any nurses potentially here, because in particular the nurse committee is looking for members often. Yeah, like sort of any nurses, any hand raises from nurses. So Diana is a nurse. Yeah, you know, comes to him.
I'm a nurse. Yes, I'm a nurse scientist as well.
Excellent. So yeah, like, so see, next nurse committee opening has its name written across. Your name written across.
So this is one of the things that committees indeed bring, right? It's the networking. It's meeting people who you otherwise may not run into, who have similar interest or additional interest. So, so yeah, that's I think a really great benefit of committees.
Yeah, great. So Diana, you know what to apply for.
Yeah, I was already looking at the website. I couldn't find the link, but I'm sure you're going to help me with that.
Yeah, and of course, encourage your fellow nurses.
I will. Yes.
As well.
Yes. Besides being a nurse scientist, I'm also a patient representative. So I try to bind all the worlds together and see what I can do. Yeah.
Great. Excellent. A multitasker. We need you.
Thank you.
I think that we should also say that especially after COVID era, most meetings are online. So people who are members of committees do not have to travel all the year. We have an on-site meeting during the ESE Congress, but most of the other meetings are online through Zoom. I think this is important to know because many people have families, their jobs, and they're not very able to travel a lot.
So are there other questions from all the attendees? We are now stretching across 2 pages with the attendees. Okay, we have further great experiences with the African Sciences Frontiers Initiative. Okay, cool. That sounds good. Lots of links.
Is anyone here, again, show of hands, considering joining a committee or applying to join a committee in ESE, but maybe have been hesitant to do so?
Okay,
Nidal?
Nidal Essa says she wants to join a committee, but she has been hesitant. Nidal, do you want to tell us more about this?
Yeah, I think I didn't know how to join, and when I applied, it was closed the application, so I lost. But one thing that make me delay in the application that I feel that I'm not qualified enough, and I need an experience, so I'm not that brief to fill in all. So just try, and then it is okay for me. But I learned from that you will learn when you have the chance to learn something new.
So what made you think, you know, that you were not experienced enough? Was that based on the form that you had to fill in, or something that you filled in for yourself?
Yeah, for myself.
As women
I
sometimes
think that,
do, as we said.
Yeah, yes, I have that feeling that I am not qualified enough for nothing, just that maybe they need more expertise in this area, and I'm not. And so for that,
I think, yeah, that's important. I think it is really important not to exclude yourself. Yeah, like, and as we said earlier, also not to be frustrated if on the first occasion you are not selected, because you heard that might be on lots of things like topic, geography, gender, and so on. Yeah, like if you are interested, you bring enthusiasm, and this is what we want in the committees. Yeah, so don't exclude yourself. Let others do that. And obviously we are very inclusive.
So perhaps we could also mention that if a candidate doesn't get through and they would like some feedback for the reasons why, I'm sure that the committee chair would always be prepared to give the feedback. In some cases, it might be that there were just exceptional candidates, and everybody was exceptional, and the candidates, just the one that got voted in maybe had a little bit of an edge, and there's maybe nothing that the others could have done in order to to improve their applications. But in some cases it might be you need to demonstrate something in a different way on your CV. Maybe it's the way that the CV has been presented, or maybe the enthusiasm didn't shine through, or perhaps gaining a little bit of expertise in something different maybe make you more suitable for a particular committee. And in other cases it might be you're not right for this committee, but you could be right for a different committee, and then the chair would tell you. So it's worth, I think, if someone's unsuccessful in their application, it's worth asking for that feedback.
Yeah, and also it can be quite fluctuating. I mean, some years we have like 10 or more applications for one committee, and the other year it can be very a few applications. So also this is another reason to really try again.
So should we have the links again in the chat for the committees on the ESE website, and the committee applications for nominations? Would it be possible to include those again?
I think Andrea had it further up. Yeah, I think if you scroll up, then you see there Andrea Davis put it in.
Perfect.
Yeah, with the link. You can just
I'll put it in again though.
Like further down. Yeah, so that would be good. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, just as an information, which is very sad actually, but the chair of the education committee will be free. So if you want to apply, this is starting next April.
That's to become an executive committee member and chair of the education committee. But obviously you could also start for committee membership general, just to feel your way in, so to speak.
Exactly.
Yeah. one thing that interests us, because obviously it is the first EUWIN seminar, so we deliberately put it into the lunchtime slot to sort of have people join lunchtime-ish, yeah, like, and so is this a convenient time for you? So because we had discussions originally, do we do it lunchtime or do we do it later afternoon? But we thought later afternoon might be, because of family commitments and picking up children and so on, might be more difficult. So can we do a hand raise and say, who of you would prefer lunchtime as we had it this time? Then just like give a thumbs up. We have a number of, yeah, so like, I look at, and who would prefer late afternoon?
We need to wait for the hands to go away first, I think.
Okay, let's have the hands go away first and then do the late afternoon vote. So we wait for the hands to go away. That's also the emoticon. And now who wants late afternoon? Just a few.
Just a few.
Okay, so the lunchtime slot seems to be good. That's good, because also to let you know that our next slot will be on the 8th of November. It's also a lunchtime slot, which will be about awards, how to put in for an award or how to get yourself nominated for an award. Yeah, and we will again have a number of guests, successful people who have received one of the ESE awards. And as this is on the 8th of November, I obviously shamelessly also put out there that the European Journal of Endocrinology Award 2024 is still open for nominations until the end of September. So if you want to go for it or know somebody who should go for it, instigate it until the 30th of September. This is accepted. Okay.
And if you're not already connected to the EUWIN network formally, we have a LinkedIn group for EUWIN. So please do join, and we will advertise further events there. But we would also very much like to hear from you regarding what topics you'd like to discuss in future webinars. So do give your suggestions.
Excellent. Yeah, so if there are no further questions, so like we have already a thank you for attending and the advertisement for the next time slot. And that's super great. And if there are no further questions, the post, there's a question, can you please post the LinkedIn page, the link to the LinkedIn page? You can also go to LinkedIn and just type in there EUWIN. So please go to the LinkedIn page and become a member of EUWIN just by clicking this. This is great. And yeah, then I'm left to thank everybody for participating and for all the questions and the discussion, in particular Miriam and Lina. And I would ask that, you know, like the team that organized it stays on just for a brief debrief, but we let all of you go. Yes, and it's also, EUWIN is also on Twitter. Follow us on Twitter as well.